Welcome back to the Sports News Analysis YouTube channel, where I'm always breaking down the hot sports topics of the day. So be sure to check out my other videos and subscribe to my page to get all of my videos delivered directly to your inbox. I'm continuing my NFL Draft 2013 prospect analysis. And next up is Jarvis Jones, a linebacker from the University of Georgia. Jones is a guy who late last week made his announcement that he'll forego his senior season to turn pro. This past year, Jones had 14.5 sacks. The year prior, 13.5 sacks. So from a production standpoint, I like what I see from the pass rushing linebacker. He's finished his career in the Capital One Bowl with 2 sacks as well. Jones is a unique guy because he's a guy who obviously has the pass rushing numbers. We see that between the 14.5 and 13.5 sacks the last 2 years. But he's also a guy who's noted as far as how well he drops back in pass coverage. And I think that's what you're going to see separate him from the other defenders in this draft. He's the best pass rusher, and while he might not be the best linebacker covering guys in space and in the flats and etc., he's good enough where he's going to be a very sought-after prospect. I look for him to go in the top 5 of the draft. I personally think that he should go. I think Jacksonville, they're in a situation where they have such a lack of talent that I don't think they're looking for any specific position in this draft. So I think they should go for the best available guy. And I think that at number 2, that best available guy will be a Jarvis Jones. I mean, if you look at the Denver Broncos 2 years ago, they were in sort of the same situation where they needed to kind of upgrade their roster with talent. They take Von Miller out of Texas A&M, and 2 years later, Von Miller is one of the top 4 or 5 defenders in the game. And at the time, Von Miller's more of a pass rushing specialist than Jarvis Jones is. Jones gives you that more well-rounded prospect that can play on all downs. And that's a rarity this day and age in the NFL, a guy that can play every single down rather than being a pass rush specialist, being a guy who covers and being a specialist in that area. Jarvis Jones gives you a well-rounded guy. One thing you'll notice about Jones right away when you watch him play is how quick he gets off the ball, just like a lot of these edge speed rushers. He has that going for him. He gets off the ball well. Size-wise, he's 6'2", 242. So again, to compare him to Von Miller, because I know Von Miller's a guy that a lot of people are familiar with, he's roughly the same size as Von Miller. He's about an inch shorter and about 5 pounds heavier. So, with the way these media guides are, they could be the exact same size, knowing how those guys do their work there. So, I look for Jones to come off the board in the top 5. I don't really see any weaknesses for what NFL defenses are going to want Jones to do. I think Jones can fit in a 3-4 or a 4-3 type defense. He has the speed to get to the edge against NFL running backs. If there's one area he could improve in a little bit, it's his run defense. But again, when you get a guy who can rush the passer to the level he can and can cover in space, I think he's a guy that's going to be on a lot of teams' radars. But I hope that the Jaguars have enough sense to scoop him up with that second pick, because I think he can be that kind of franchise-changing defensive player, a lot like Von Miller has been. You'll hear a lot of people compare, as I have been, Jarvis Jones to Von Miller because he's a recent comparison. If you remember Julian Peterson back in the day from the 49ers, when he first got drafted, he was a dual threat, pass rusher, covering the flat kind of linebacker. That's who I sort of liken Jarvis Jones to as well. And we saw him play some big games in the biggest spots for Georgia this year, most notably their game against Florida, which he had one of those games where he sort of wrecked the game. Okay, and there's not many college level or pro level defensive players that can truly wreck a game, right? You think of J.J. Watt, you think of Ray Lewis in his prime, you think of Von Miller now. You think of Julius Peppers at times. You think of guys that can have 2-3 sacks in a game, a forced fumble, a deflected pass. That's the kind of guy Jarvis Jones is. So I think he made a good decision leaving school early out of Georgia. I think he'll get paid handsomely for his services. And again, next year, this time, I would not be a bit surprised if we're talking about Jarvis Jones being the NFL Defensive Rookie of the Year. So that's what I think about Jarvis Jones. Let me know what you guys think. Hit me up on the YouTube comments. I've done other prospect analysis videos that you should definitely take a look at. And be sure to subscribe to my page as well. Thanks, guys, as always. And enjoy the second day of Wildcard Sunday. Thank you.